Thanks for joining in once again, and it's nice to have you here. As always, nothing said here should be taken as financial advice or any form of advice. Today's discussion is centered on Tesla's car demands and production. Many analysts believe Tesla has demand issues even with current wait times experienced by customers ordering a car. As we can see here, currently in China, you would have to wait at least 2 to 5 months to get your car. And these are the base models. I believe any customization would extend these wait times. Going over to the USA, it goes from 2 months wait for the Model 3 all the way to 1 year for the Model X. And you wait longer in the UK, where it's still 2 months for the Model 3 and more than a year for the Model S and X. It is clear that the demand is there, just looking at these 3 countries alone. Not to now talk of the recent Hertz deal of 100,000 cars by end of 2022, worth at least $4.2 billion. More on the Hertz deal in an upcoming video, but the deal has potential to make demand for Tesla cars skyrocket. Elon Musk himself in one of his tweets said Tesla is very much a ramp problem, not a demand problem. So, to the first question, can Tesla deliver 20 million cars by 2025?
And Tesla's long-term competitive advantage will be manufacturing, because all cars will be electric, eventually all cars will be autonomous. The thing that's the hardest to, I think, sort of match Tesla on or copy is manufacturing. And so I think that will be the long-term advantage of Tesla.
And our confidence in that has grown because what we're seeing now is Tesla able to scale EV manufacturing in a way that no one else, except perhaps BYD in China, no one else is doing this yet. And Tesla had to go through a huge learning curve to get there. This is not like the manufacturing of traditional autos. It's a completely different game. And so we believe that Tesla's market share, we used to say we thought Tesla would take 25% of the electric vehicle market in 5 years. Now we're saying we believe Tesla will take 25% of the total vehicle market in 5 years. And we think electric will be nearly half of total vehicles sold.
I'm sure the question on your mind is what the total vehicle market is? As we see here, in the past 5 years, the annual worldwide car sale is an average of 66 million, excluding year 2020. If Tesla is to have 25% of that market as we just heard, that would equate to 16.5 million cars by 2026. Looking at how Tesla now blows projections out of the water, and if the world doesn't shut down again, I believe they would exceed this number and be well on their way to 20 million vehicles. This graph from the Q3 2021 report shows how market share per region is already looking like an S-curve. Now if they do not have a demand problem, can they produce to meet demand? With just 2 factories operational, the current annual installed capacity is over 1 million units. So far this year, Tesla has produced a total of 624,582 vehicles. That's with all the chip shortage and supply chain bottleneck the world is experiencing, and also from just 2 factories that both had production lines shut down for about 2 weeks. During the recent Q3 earnings call, an institutional investor asked,
what is Tesla's goal for vehicle production capacity for the 4 current factories, Fremont, Shanghai, Austin, and Berlin, by 2024?
You know, our goal as a company here is to grow on an average pace of 50% per year. And so you can extrapolate that out. You know, there may be some periods of time in which we're well ahead of that. There could be some periods of time, despite best efforts, where we're slightly lower than that. But that remains the long-term goal of the company. In Fremont, you know, we're continuing to push the boundaries of what's possible there. You know, over the last 12 months, we've done about 430,000 cars of production. And, you know, based upon everything that we know in the factory, where the bottlenecks are, what the potential is, we're targeting to increase that another 50%. I think that will be a difficult goal, but that's the goal that the internal team has, and they're going to continue to push on that. You know, as we look towards Shanghai, we're continuing to push the boundaries there, and we continue to ramp production there as well. So most recently, the ramp of the Model Y, which was our biggest contributor of volume in Q3. we'll continue to ramp that factory. And, and our plans there with time are to keep growing the capacity in that factory. Austin and Berlin are interesting factories because our first iterations of capacity there are on Model Y, but we've intentionally set these factories in locations in which they have a quite significant amount of land and ability to expand. And so, we'll take Model Y at these factories. We're trying to get to 5,000 cars a week as soon as we can, and then we'll continue to push beyond that, potentially even getting to 10,000 cars per week at those factories. And then we'll add Cybertruck here in Austin and continue to grow from there. So, our goal is to get to millions of cars per year over the next couple of years, and then ultimately in the long term, be able to achieve 20 million cars per year. We're going to grow as quickly as is feasibly possible with an eye towards a 50% annual growth rate.
And Tesla's long-term competitive advantage will be manufacturing. Because all cars will be electric, eventually all cars will be autonomous. The thing that's the hardest to, I think, sort of match Tesla on or copy is manufacturing. And so I think that will be the long-term advantage of Tesla. So we have record vehicle deliveries, as we've already reported this, but you can see that there's a pretty, I think this might be the fastest that any large manufactured object has grown. Certainly one of the fastest, perhaps the fastest. It looks like we have a good chance of maintaining that into the future, really dependent on supplier challenges. So if we can get the chips, we can do it. Hopefully this chip shortage will alleviate soon, but I feel confident of being able to maintain something like this, at least above 50% for quite a while.
Putting all these bits information together and using my very basic Excel calculation, I believe with the said growth or expansion rate of 50% annually, Tesla can produce a little over 20 million with 2 factories and well over 20 million vehicles from 4 factories by year 2026. And the number increases if they decide to add more factories, which would most likely be later in 2023, as mentioned during the last shareholders call. What do you think? That's all we have for today. Till I come your way again, stay safe.